heard that saying that motivation is what gets you started, but discipline is what keeps you going? Like, you get so excited to start your vision board and write down all of your goals, but 2 weeks later, you're right back where you started. That gym membership is wasted. That YouTube channel has cobwebs. That business idea is still sitting in your notes app. Well, let me be the one to tell you the truth that consistency isn't about discipline. It's all about your systems. If you thought that you have never been a disciplined person, then this is the perfect episode for you. Hi, if you're new here, my name is Twee. Welcome back to the 3rd episode of The Future You. If this is your first time here, this series is all about closing the gap from who you are today to the person that you are becoming, because the future you starts with the decisions that you make today. In episode 1, we deep dived into why you are feeling stuck, and episode 2, we deep dived into how to make goals. But the number one question I get asked is, how do I actually stay consistent at achieving the goals? Let me be the one to tell you that I used to be the most inconsistent person ever. I would start the gym and then I would go for about 2 or 3 weeks and then I was back on the couch. I would say that I'm gonna start my YouTube channel and then I would film for like 1 week and then for a whole month I would just disappear. I never had a consistent schedule. I definitely was not disciplined, and I've had to learn over the 8 years of being an entrepreneur that you do not rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your system. Oh, okay, amen, sister. The first thing that I want to break down is the discipline myth, because I think a lot of times you hear the word discipline and you feel like, oh my god, these people are just so motivated. But actually, consistent people aren't just more motivated, they aren't just more disciplined, they have just built better systems for themselves. So this episode is all going to be breaking down how to actually build a system that is going to work for you, because the truth is discipline is going to run out eventually. Motivation, she gonna fade, okay? But your systems, once you set them up properly, that is going to be the reason that's going to carry you on the days that you do not feel like showing up. I'm going to talk specifically about content creation and why staying consistent on social media in particular is so hard. The only way that you're actually going to grow on social media is if you stay consistent. But a lot of people that write to me in my DMs, write to me for my newsletter, they always tell me that they really struggle with their consistency. And I want to speak to that girl right now who always gets started on social media. They kind of post for 1 or 2 weeks and then they end up falling off again and not posting for another month. The real reason why you can't stay consistent isn't really because you lack discipline. It's because content creation just has so many steps. It has so many decisions. You constantly have to keep thinking about what video you're going to post, what subject you're going to talk about, how should I edit it, what time should I post, what hashtag should I use, what should the caption be. There is a thing called decision fatigue, okay? And it is real. When you have to make 20 different decisions every single time you have to post, no wonder you're not staying consistent, because you have to use so much brain power. I had to really learn this the hard way, especially when I was really trying to grow my following. Every morning, I would spend hours trying to scroll on social media, trying to think about what hook am I going to use, or what type of format should it be? Should it be a 6-second video? Should it be a talking to camera video? Should it be a voiceover? And then by the time I had to sit down to film, girl, I was tired. I was exhausted. And then I kept going through this loop of feeling really guilty every time I missed an upload. And then you end up in this loop of posting for a little bit and then going ghost and not posting for like another week, another month, another 2 months. This is why most people quit content creation after a couple of months. My problem before was I was always procrastinating. Every single time I thought of a video, I'm like, oh yeah, I'll remember that. But then I wouldn't write it down. Or I'll be scrolling online and then I'll see a video that I really like and I'm like, oh my god, I really want to do that video. But then I would never actually save it into like a folder that I can go back to. So I had to create the 2-minute rule that anytime I got inspired, anything that just takes 2 minutes, I have to do it right now. Anytime that I thought of an idea, if it took me under 2 minutes and I could do it right then and right now, I will literally sit down, take 2 minutes and write all down. That also goes with replying back to comment, replying back to an email, saving that content idea, scheduling that post. The thing that I really want to drill into you that it's not about overthinking, it's about action. And I think for us women, a lot of times it's all about taking away that mental clutter, you know, that mental load. And that is what's going to build the act of being consistent. Okay, I want to talk about the thing that I feel like has really changed the trajectory of my career, and that was building my second brain. I actually read a book from Tiago Forte at the start of this year. If you haven't read it yet, highly recommend. I actually was binge watching his YouTube videos as well. And this book talks about building a second brain. And he talks about how your brain is not meant to store things. It's meant to be thinking of creative ideas. It's meant to be doing things. And I think a lot of us, especially as you're older, go, woo, the memory, she fading, girl. The Alzheimer's is coming. I feel like as I get older, there's so many times I go downstairs. I'm like, what did I come downstairs for? Please tell me I'm not the only one down below in the comments, okay? There's so many times that I'm like, oh, I remember to do that. And then later on, I totally forget it. And then she's fallen off the planet. The shit never gets done. So the idea of building a second brain is to have one place where you store all of your ideas, all of your content, all of your plans, your processes, everything, like your contracts, anything that's important, you store it in one place. This is so that you avoid starting from scratch every single day. The whole premise of a second brain is that you're building a system that works and thinks for you. I'm going to show you a screen recording of the Future Creator, which is the content system that I personally have designed from scratch. I was trying to find a system that had everything that a content creator would need, and I downloaded so many different templates, and every single one didn't have this or didn't have that, or I would have so many pages that I would never use. So I took it upon myself to literally spend 3 months solid just working on this perfect Notion system that I was able to come back to every single day. Any single time I had a contract, I had briefs, I had a content idea, I can quickly whip out my second brain and I can quickly jot things down. I can also write down my daily to-do list. I can have a page for all of my YouTube videos, my TikTok videos, and in general, I was just able to have a clear content calendar. Especially as a creator, that was something that I really struggled with. What videos needs to be repurposed? What are the captions for that video? What is the hashtags for that video? And I wanted just one place that I can store my idea bank. Every single time I had a really good ChatGPT prompt, I wanted to save it all down in one place. Previously, before I designed this master Notion system, I had things in my email, I had things in my Google Doc, I had things lurking on my notes, and all the time I would just forget where everything was. Like, even when I go to the airport, I'm like, what is my flight number? Girl, that should all be logged down in your second brain. The thing that I love the most about the Future Creator system is that every single time I sit down to think of a video, I'm not starting from scratch. I'm not starting from just a blank page, because we all know that is where your creativity just dies. I feel like whenever I have like an idea, I want to be able to just click on a template, everything populates for me, and it reminds me of all the things that I need to think about. This is also a place that I have my content pillars, I have my analytics tracker on here, I have my 90-day goal system on here. In general, it's something that I just go to every single day. Whenever I don't know what I need to be working on, whenever I just need to like jot down a quick idea, everything goes into this master system. And trust me when I say, when you unlock the perfect system, that is going to be the quickest way to consistency. It's going to be the quickest way to growth. If you are a content creator and you're looking for the perfect system, I honestly feel like I have created it. I feel like not a lot of people talk about what consistency really is. The thing that I really had to learn about consistency is that you do not have to show up the exact same every single day. I feel like a lot of people think that consistency is like 100% every single day. You're showing up, you're disciplined, you're motivated, but honestly, the truth is, life doesn't work that way, okay? I used to think that if I wanted to be consistent, I would have to wake up at 5 a.m. every day, do my full morning routine with all my affirmations, my journaling, my reading, and then I would hit the gym for 2 hours, and then I would go to work for 8 hours straight and get all of my work done, and then I would spend time with Roller and my family. It wasn't like that every day, guys, okay? There's gonna be some days where you have like the perfect routine, and there's gonna be some days where you're tired. There's gonna be some days where you are not motivated. You do not want want to go to the gym. The thing that really changed everything for me, and I really had to teach myself, is just to be 1% better every day. I'm not asking for you to be at 100% every day. I'm not asking for you to like go at it all the time, because eventually that does lead to burnout. And I think that's what a lot of people's problems are. Like, you know, January 1st, they're going to the gym 7 days a week, even though they haven't been to the gym for like 2 years before that. And then eventually they just burn out because it's not a sustainable rate. And when I learned about the concept of 1% better every single day, I think that is what really started to improve my content. When you just do one thing towards your goal every single day, that is true consistency. And you have to remember that even if it's the smallest step, as long as you are stepping towards the right direction, that is all that matters. Even if it's 11:55 p.m, okay, and the day is almost over, in that last 5 minutes, I want you to open up your phone, post a story, share a quote, repost something, just anything to get you into the habit of just showing up every single day towards your goals. I really had to learn that something is better than nothing. I had to bat away all of my perfectionist tendencies, all of that niggling feeling that's saying like, what's the point? There's not even no point starting now. You haven't tried your best. But I think what's really important is that you're just trying. And do you know what the weirdest thing is? Every single time I'm like, okay, let me just quickly put down my phone and quickly film this TikTok because I have nothing to post. Those were the videos that blew up, okay? Those off the cuff moments where I'm just gonna put my phone down and just have a quick rant and talk from my heart. Those are the videos that actually performed so much better than when I would actually script out a video, edit all perfectly, and then wait for the best time to post. Those videos will flop. And that really just goes to show like the way that social media is going, that people just want to relate to people, okay? You do not need to have a full face of makeup on. You don't need to have your hair all perfect before you post. If anything, people actually connect to people that are just chilling in their bed. That feels like you're just talking to them on FaceTime. And I think that's what a lot of people go wrong, especially when they first start social media. They think that they have to be this perfect influencer. But what I really want to show and tell you, especially from my own experience of, you know, going through the Instagram days where everything was so highly produced, nowadays, especially on TikTok, people relate more to like the casual, the less perfect, the better. As someone who has always been a type B person, okay, I never had any routine. It was always kind of go with the flow. Wherever the wind blew me, I flew. I never was that type of person who like thrived on routine. But now, after having more of like a systematic approach to being more consistent, I've learned that there's 3 routines that is able to keep me consistent, and I adapt my routine depending on how I'm feeling that day. So routine number 1 is my high energy days, okay? These are the days that I had a good 8-9 hours of sleep. This is when the night before I write down all of my goals that I want to accomplish the next day, and something just happens where I wake up, I've got a spring in my step, I wake up before my alarm, I'm doing my full skincare routine, I'm going to the gym at 7 a.m. on the dot, I'm running my team, I'm filming my content, and then I wrap up at 5 o'clock. It's like the perfect day, okay? Those days are my high energy days, okay? I wish I had them more often. I have my routine locked down for the days that I know like, I've got a lot of energy today. Normally it's like on a Monday when I have a lot more energy, like I'm excited for the week because I rested because of the weekend. And then I have, you know, my medium days, okay? On the days that I don't feel that great, you know, on the days where, you know, you feel your period coming, you're not the greatest, you're not the chirpiest, but you gotta get shit done, okay? So on these days, all I do is just a 20-minute workout, okay? I don't need to do the full hour like my high energy days. On this day, as long as I do 20 minutes, I'm a happy girl. It could just be walking, it could just be doing a quick little run, it could be doing some stretches, but 20 minutes, I allow myself on like the medium days, just so that I feel like, okay, I'm moving my body, I'm getting myself into the habit, I'm kind of like loosening up, stretching, all that kind of stuff. And then on my medium days, I'm either filming a video or editing like 2 or 3 videos, okay? Like this is not the day that I'm pushing myself, but I'm still doing the things that I said I was gonna do, you know? Then we're gonna talk about the low energy days, okay? And sometimes, I'm not gonna lie, I have a couple of these days. Low energy days are the days that you just feel like you want to stay in bed. You just feel like you don't want to do anything. You cannot be bothered. You just feel so tired, either mentally or physically. You just feel drained. And these are the days that I really do have to remember that just by doing just one little thing, I'm still showing up for myself. Even if I'm just stretching, even if I'm just taking Rolo on a little 5-minute walk around the block, that is better than nothing. These are the days that I literally just come back and I just post like one story. I reply back to 1 or 2 DMs. I reply back to a few comments. I think it's so important to also listen to our body when we feel like this as well, because these are the times that you really do need to like practice self-love. And you know, sometimes practicing self-love is just doing like the bare minimum, just doing like what you can do that day. But the most important thing is that you're planning for tomorrow. Now, what I don't want anyone to get into the habit of is having too many of these low days. It's totally normal to have, 1 or 2 low days. You might not be feeling that great. You might be in like, a breakup or something, okay? But I think it's so important when you are feeling like this, at least make an action plan that tomorrow you're going to try adding a few more things in there, trying to at least work out a little bit more, try to at least maybe film another video. And I think that's how you kind of build the momentum. And I think it's so important to have different systems for different days, especially as women. We have so many different phases of our cycle. We have our luteal phase, we have our actual like heavy flow days, and we're just not going to be on it all the time. There's going to be times where we feel like we have so much energy and times that we don't. But I think it's important on even the days that you don't to still show up for yourself. And I think it's so important, especially, right now as the seasons are changing, we can get seasonal depression, okay? Having these 3 systems and listening to my intuition on what I need that day, I think is so important to listen to how your body's feeling, because if you constantly keep pushing yourself when you're on your low days, that is what's going to make you burn out. That's what's going to make you feel resentful. You're not going to want to produce your best content on that day. So listen to your body, listen to what you need, but just try to do something. Instead of doing nothing at all, be proud of yourself that you even tried, that you even just done a little 5-minute walk around the block, that you even moved your body, and making a plan, especially on the low days, is what's going to keep you going. Okay, so I know I talked a lot about how creating systems is the secret to consistency, but let's actually talk about systems. Like, what system can you actually start adapting? Because when I kept hearing about this word systems, I'm like, what even is a system? How do I create a system? So a system is the way that you actually do things. I think a lot of times people set goals, but they don't set systems. So that's why you're not achieving your goal. So if your goal, for example, is to run 5K, by the end of the year, okay? Your system will be like 3 times a week, you're gonna put on your running shoes, you're gonna go on the treadmill for a minimum of 20 minutes, and then every week you're gonna slowly increase. So basically a system is like making a plan to actually get to that goal. And I think that is where a lot of people go wrong. They create the goal, but they don't actually think about the system. I'm gonna break down some of the systems that I have implemented into my own life, and that has got me from someone who was so scattered, inconsistent, all over the place, to now someone that I feel like as soon as I wake up, I know exactly what I need to do that day. I have a really clear plan of exactly how I'm going to get to my goal. And honestly, ever since I started implementing my life with these systems, it has really changed everything for me. And hopefully some of these systems inspires you to maybe adapt into your own life. So the first one is you need to schedule your priorities, okay? Not just scheduling your tasks, but scheduling your priorities. There's so many people out there that when I ask them like, what's your priority? And they say like, oh, spending time with my family, time with my boyfriend. But when I actually look at your calendar, where is spending time with your family? You need to add it to your calendar, okay? And this is something that I still struggle with till this day. Like, adding things into my calendar and remembering to actually look at my calendar is an actual habit that you have to put into place. For example, at the moment, I'm currently doing 2 courses, and I really struggle with finding the time to read or find the time to actually sit down and do my course. And I've had to learn that I need to actually put it into my calendar at the start of the week. I normally do this on Sunday, so I actually plan out my week in advance. And at the start of every single Sunday, I always sit down and I kind of put in like the things that I really want to focus on this week, so that I actually know that I'm moving the needle towards my goals. I think a lot of us, we fill our calendar with busy things. Like, we do a lot of things, but the things that we're doing is not actually moving the needle towards our goals and getting us to to where we actually want to be. So everything goes onto my calendar. I put my workouts, I put my time blocks that I'm filming, I put all my meetings as well. All of my non-negotiables, it goes into my calendar. If it is not scheduled, then it doesn't happen. Okay, like, you know, there's those friends that's like, do you want to meet up? But then no one actually puts in a date. Yeah, if no one puts in a date, if there's no deadlines, it ain't gonna happen, girl. So get into the habit of actually putting something into your calendar and sticking to it. The thing about this is that I really had to learn, this is not just about time management, it's actually treating your goals like it's an appointment, like you are going to show up for yourself. Okay, the next one goes hand in hand, but it's to write things down. Woo! The amount of times I'm at the gym and I think of this amazing idea, and then when I get home I'm like, oh, what was that idea again? And it's because I haven't got myself into the habit of writing things down. I think a lot of us, we just think that, oh, we're gonna remember later, but we don't remember later, guys. Like, I am that type of person now that whenever I go to do a food shop, I need to have a grocery list. I need to remember the things that I ain't gonna remember when I get to the grocery store and I'm distracted from the chocolate aisle and the crisps and like the new in aisle. Okay, then I actually forget all the actual things that I need. Get yourself into the habit of writing things down. This is one of the quickest ways to avoid decision fatigue. And I spoke about decision fatigue earlier, but it's a real thing, guys. Like, there's a reason why the most successful people, they wear the same clothes every day. They don't think about these silly decisions like what they're gonna eat. They already have all of these decisions made for them, because making a decision is so hard. Like, have you ever been in a relationship where you and your boyfriend, like, you can't decide what you're gonna eat that day because you just have no more capacity, you have no more energy to even think anymore? It's because making decisions is really hard and it actually takes up a lot of your energy, especially when you are not a decisive person as well and you kind of go with the flow. Trying to lessen the amount of silly decisions you have to make so that when it actually comes to using your energy, you're using that energy towards decisions that's actually going to move the needle. The next system that I have started to implement is to plan tomorrow today. This system that I've implemented has honestly been such a big game changer. Every single night before I close my laptop, I just quickly jot down the things that I definitely need to do tomorrow. The 3 things that if I do tomorrow's going to be a good day. I think a lot of times where people go wrong is that, you know, they open up their laptop and they're like, what do I need to work on today? That already is using up one of your decisions, okay? We do not want to create decision fatigue already, okay, when we are in our prime element of like thinking and creating. We want to already make those decisions yesterday, so whenever we wake up the next day, we are primed, we're ready to go, we know exactly what we're working towards, we know exactly what we need to do that day. This also stops that habit of, you know, when you go to bed and you start to think about all the things that you didn't get done that day and your brain starts to go into overdrive. Like, I don't know if anyone else is like that, but when I personally lay my head down on the pillow at night time, I think about all the things that I'm like, oh my god, I forgot about this. And those are the times that I'm like, okay, let me quickly jot this down before I go to bed. And for some reason, because I wrote it all down, I've got it out of my brain, I feel like I have a much better sleep because I don't have to think about it no more. I don't have to like remember tomorrow to remember that thing because I already wrote it down. My past me has already helped my future me. This also helps if you are planning to do something the next day. Like, for example, if you know that you're gonna go on a trip tomorrow, make sure you pack the night before. If you know you're gonna go to the gym tomorrow, make sure you set out all your clothes before so that in the morning you just need to get up, you know exactly where everything is, and you just pop it on. That stops you from in the morning, if you kind of woke up late or you're not feeling the best, like that is gonna stop any excuses. And just by planning tomorrow, today, just allows you to actually stay consistent because you already planned it all out. The hardest bit is actually making the plan. Once you kind of make the plan, it's easier just to kind of wake up and follow the plan. But when you are in a place where you're feeling a bit low, where you kind of let your mood dictate on what you do that day, that is where people find that they are a lot more inconsistent. Okay, the next thing is habit stacking. Okay, if you haven't read Atomic Habits, I've spoken about it so many times on my channel. That is the first book that I read that got me into like self-development and productivity and all that kind of stuff, and it talks all about making little micro habits is what's going to make the biggest impact. And there are a lot of things that we are not gonna want to do, okay? Let's be honest. The things that we procrastinate on, like washing the dishes or doing the laundry, we do not want to do that. So if you habit stack it with something that you actually enjoy doing, for example, now whenever I drive the car, because I hate driving, but the thing that actually makes it less uncomfortable for me me and, you know, make it a bit more enjoyable is actually listening to a podcast. So whenever I drive, I'm always turning on a podcast and I'm like driving and I'm thinking about all these things. And now I've actually really enjoyed driving now, which is very surprising. This also really works whenever I don't really want to work out. I just literally jump on the treadmill and I just put on like a Netflix show, and I feel like I'm not even really working out. I'm just kind of like moving my body but watching a show at the same time. So these things that you need to get done is going to get done anyway, so you might as well find a way to make it a little bit more enjoyable. The next thing I want to talk about is focusing on one goal at a time. I did talk about this in the last episode, so if you haven't watched it yet, go and watch it. It's all about creating goals and actually sticking to them. I think the problem is a lot of us set so many goals, okay? Or we are working towards a goal, but we haven't quite finished it, but then we get distracted by, you know, shiny object syndrome, and then we want to create another goal, but then this goal is slowly dying, or we never actually truly finish that goal. What I think has made the biggest difference is actually making sure that I'm making progress in one goal first before I move on to another goal. Even if this goal is going to take you 70 days, 80 days, 90 days, 102 days, it doesn't matter how long it actually takes you. When you actually see yourself accomplishing something, you will feel so proud of yourself. You actually feel like you're gaining momentum, and then it will actually inspire you to make another goal that you can actually accomplish. The big thing is to build gradually and not to build it all at once. Now I'm going to pull you in for a hug, because you will have off days, okay? Even if you have the best systems in the world, there's going to be days where you fall off the calendar. There's going to be days where you have been working out really, really well, and then all of a sudden you fall off, and then you want to go to McDonald's and binge on McDonald's. That is okay. That is life. I think a lot of us fall into maybe that habit of, you know, going intensely, and then we fall off for a few days, and then we're like, oh, what's the point? What's the point? I'll start next week. I'll start next month. I'll start next year. Like, girl, no. Do not fall into that habit, okay? Even if you fell off on one day, that's fine. You don't need to make yourself up for it. You don't need to work harder the next day. Just pick yourself back up where you left off. People who are consistent forgive themselves faster. The main goal isn't to make everything perfect. Isn't making sure that you are always showing up 100%. It's just to get you in the habit of just showing up in general. You can actually keep this up for the future. It's not just something that you do for like 2 weeks and you fall off. It's about something that you can sustain for futures to come, that you can actually, you know, build a lifestyle from it, not just do like these crash diets, you know, and like just work out intensely and then you're slob kebab for the 8 months of the year. You need to find systems and routines that you can actually sustain, like even 5 years down the line. Out of everything that I spoke about in this video, the one thing that I want you to take away from this is that discipline is always going to finish off what motivation started, but it's your systems as the thing that's going to keep you consistent. If you can focus on creating the right system for you, that is how you're going to get the magical key that unlocks everything. If you want the exact Notion system that I use every single day, I will link it down below. I honestly feel like having this system, especially for content creation, which is so hard to stay consistent. It's so hard to know, what should I post that day? Have I been posting too many makeup videos that day? How do I actually move around from different content pillars to make sure that my videos and my social media channels all show different aspects of me and is building towards my personal brand, so that I can attract lifestyle brands, I can attract skincare brands, I can attract makeup brands. All of these strategic goals and systems is all within my Notion dashboard. So if you want to pick up the Future Creator system, I'll link it all down below. If you are currently struggling with building that consistency, it might be because you're in a place where you're outgrowing something. That's why I would highly recommend for you to watch this video right here. This talks about how to know when you are outgrowing your job, your relationship, your friendships. I feel like a lot of people get stuck in those situations, but they don't even know that they're stuck. And I think this video that I filmed actually broke everything down on actually how to realize that you're outgrowing something. I would love for you to let me know down below, what is something that you would love to be a little bit more consistent at? Is it posting online? Is it being a little bit better with your diet? Is it working out? I have been in every single one of those shoes, and until I found this perfect system, I don't even need to think about now. It's just like my automatic response. That is when I really unlocked like true consistency, and I actually started to see so many benefits and results in not only my financial life, but in my personal life, in my relationships, in so many different aspects of my life. And I think if you follow just some of these tips, you will see such a big difference, like night and day within your life. That is it for this video. I really felt like I spoke from the heart, because consistency is one of those things that it is a habit. It's all about trying to get yourself just even like 1% better, just to try a little bit more than what you did yesterday. That is already a sign that you are trying to be consistent, and it's nothing to beat yourself up over if you fell off for a couple of days. Just get back on the horse, girl. You got this. I am so proud of you. Just by even watching this video, you know that you want to step foot in the right direction. You know that you want to be better for yourself. I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next episode. Bye.